Good evening and welcome to the evening news from Monday, September 22, 2014. I'm Petra DeSantis. Thank you for joining us. Making your headlines this evening, man dies after being beaten and robbed. 1 dead and 3 injured in Parfitt Harmony blaze. Canada named Guyana's largest source of foreign investment. And government launching mental health council to tackle suicide. And now for the news in detail. The Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association says that pedophilia is a disease in our society and it needs to be dealt with as a matter of urgency. The details in this report.
Executive Director of the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association, Patricia Shiritan Bisnot, says that pedophilia is a scourge in the society that warrants immediate attention. A pedophile is a person who has a sustained sexual orientation towards children, generally aged 13 or younger. Pastor Bisnot said that the pedophilia and assault against children is rampant in Guyana's society. She pointed out that research may only scratch the surface of sexual assault against children, since the victims rarely come forward. According to Bisnot, the children usually feel a sense of dependence on the perpetrator. Bisnot pointed out that pedophilia has no barriers and stretches across several classes of society. Only recently, Speaker of the National Assembly Raphael Trotman was accused of pedophilia. He has since denied the accusation, claiming that it is politically motivated. Bisham Mohammed, Evening News.
A man is now dead and 3 others are hospitalized following an early morning fire at Le Parfitt Harmony on the west bank of Demerara. The fire is suspected to be an act of arson. Here is more from Bisham Mohammed.
The fire, which started about 1 hour 30, has claimed the life of Jason Monroe, 21, of Parfitt Harmony, West Bank, Demerara, and has left a 3-year-old Princess Bab, Chantal Calendar, 15, and Zelana Calendar, 17, hospitalized. Bab reportedly suffered first-degree burns and is in the burn unit of the Georgetown Public Hospital, while Chantal Calendar sustained second- and third-degree burns and is said to be in a critical state at the emergency unit of the said medical institution. The third victim, Zelana Calendar, is receiving treatment at the West Demerara Regional Hospital. However, based on investigations, police have arrested a male at Vreeden Hoop Ferry Stelling, suspected to be the arsonist. The Evening News understands that the owner of the Lot 201 Parfitt Harmony home, Amanda, is a security guard and was not at home when the fire occurred. It is believed that the suspect entered the house through a window to meet Chantal, but Monroe, who was already in the house, confronted him. Monroe, on the other hand, shared a relationship with Zelana. Nevertheless, an argument ensued between the two men, which ultimately turned into a scuffle. A bottle containing kerosene had spilled, but the fight continued. The suspect then picked up a piece of wood and dealt Monroe several blows to his head, leaving the injured man in an unconscious state. Additional information gathered revealed that the suspect then lit a jersey and set the home on fire with the 4 persons inside before escaping. Chantal and Zelana grabbed the princess but had little time to save Monroe, hence he was left behind. The charred remains of Monroe were recovered and are at the Ezekiel Funeral Home. The suspect has several charges hanging over his head, including murder, attempted murder, and arson. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Days after the owner of a mining camp at 14 miles Isano was allegedly beaten and robbed by 2 of his ex-workers, he succumbed to his injuries while receiving medical attention at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Joseph Nathaniel Nurse, age 35, of Lot 24 Belmont, Mahaica, East Coast, Demerara, died at about 4 hours on Monday morning. Danish Rampersad, 18, of Tushin, East Bank, Essecubo, and another man who were in the camp at the time also received several injuries to their bodies but were treated at Troy's Resources Medical Center and sent away. According to information received at about 21 hours on Thursday last, Nurse, a father of 4, and his 2 workers were attacked and beaten by 2 men who were armed with a gun and a piece of wood. During the ordeal, the 2 men demanded gold and money. Nurse reportedly put up a fight and would have received severe injuries about his body. The 2 men were bound while Nurse was reportedly left to die a short distance away from the mining camp. If you have a news tip or news story you would like our news team to follow, message or WhatsApp us on telephone numbers 6809630, 6003117, or 6172867. You can also call us on our office numbers 2310382 or 2262102, 2237230, or 2237231. Stay with us, more evening news after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. In this report, we hear that Glenn Lal, publisher of the Kaieteur News, is allegedly attempting to sway the course of justice using his newspaper. The details in this report.
Commissioner General of the Guyana Revenue Authority, Khurshid Sattar, has again raised concerns over the allegations being made by Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal. Sattar said some recent publications in the Kaieteur newspaper are attempts to influence the judgment of the acting Chief Justice into the ongoing legal proceedings involving vehicles imported by two immigrants. Lal and a GRA employee are currently implicated in a scam allegedly robbing government of millions of dollars in import duty and two 2013 Lexus Suburban L57 SUVs. Lal is listed as the closest relative of the immigrant on documents submitted. Sattar, in a letter to the media on Sunday, said the Kaieteur News owner is using his publication to undermine the work that the GRA is bounded by law to execute. The Commissioner General was referring to a publication in the newspaper's Sunday, September 21, 2014 edition, which accused him of carrying out a plot with former President Bart Jagdeo to bring down Kaieteur News.
Canada has been identified as the largest source of foreign direct investment in Guyana, with its overall investment estimated at $3 billion Canadian dollars. Here is more from Svetlana Marshall.
In 2013, Canadian imports from Ghana totaled $486.4 million Canadian dollars after importing precious stones and methods, mostly gold, bauxite, beverages, fish and seafood. On the flip side, Canadian exports to Ghana in 2013 amounted to $19.4 million Canadian dollars. Ghana imported mainly cereals, machinery, paper and paperboard, vegetables and printed books. Canadian High Commissioner Dr. Nicole Giles said Canada is the leading player in Ghana's extractive sector, comprising over 90% of the sector's international investment. Currently, there are 32 Canadian exploration companies operating in Guyana's extractive sector, working in sectors such as gold, bauxite, oil and gas.
So for the Aurora mine, for example, one of the priorities is local hires. So right now there's over 700 people who are building the mine, and over 80% of them are Guyanese, which for a mine build is an exceptionally high percentage, because normally in mine builds you see a lower percentage of locals because it's very, as you can imagine, incredibly technical. But significant investment has been made by Guyana Goldfields to make sure that it has a very high percentage of locals that are working that mine and that are building it. And we're very proud of that, and we're very proud of the commitment that Guyana Goldfields has made.
Other Canadian companies that are poised to embark on large-scale operations here include CGX Energy Inc., Sand Spring Resources, ETK, Reunion Minerals, and First Bauxite.
Well, right now we have 32 Canadian mining companies that are operating in Guyana that are at various stages of exploration. So depending on the quality of the mineral deposits that they find, depending on their ability to pull their financing together, we fully expect that some of those companies will be moving to production in the next couple of years. And those companies include Sand Spring Resources, ETK, Reunion Minerals, First Bauxite, and then it's not mining, but it is extractive sector, CGX. In terms of oil and gas, you may have seen that they've just signed a helicopter contract. So we're very excited that they're moving towards getting a platform in the water and sinking another hole.
Canada has been strongly endorsing legislative reform and the implementation of effective policies and legislation to manage Ghana's extractive sectors. But besides the extractive sectors, the Canadian High Commissioner emphasized that Canada's investment in Ghana go beyond the mining sector.
With funding from the United Nations Development Fund, the UNDP, the National Assembly on Monday officially launched its website, making available a free flow of information between members of the public and those elected to serve in administrative capacities. Here is more from Alexis Rodney.
UNDP Country Representative Khadija Musa, speaking at a simple launching ceremony in Parliament's chamber, said it is absolutely crucial that information is shared through this kind of medium, given the advancement of technology around the world. She said the achievement is a great milestone as she commended staff, including Speaker of the National Assembly Raphael Trotman, for reaching this stage.
Without the delegated effort of the staff, and the office of the speaker and the clerk, this project, whether you had money or didn't have money, would not have materialized. It is very, very important also to realize that for it to continue to be active and to provide information to everybody, parliamentarians and the general public as a whole.
Speaker of the National Assembly Raphael Trotman, during his brief remarks, said he was elated over the development since the old system had been causing some growing frustration. He explained that the genesis of the project came about last year, after which a contract was signed. Trotman maintains that it is important for government to have more dialogue with its citizens. The website, he noted, will make provision for this.
Effective communication with citizens builds confidence in Parliament and can aid in countering the public distrust towards government in general and Parliament in particular, which is a branch of government, of course. Creating an environment where citizens have trust in their elected officials promotes a shared commitment to democratic values.
The main aim of the website is to provide information, communication technology-based information, and will be available to members of Parliament, staff, and the public. The main aim of the website is to provide information, communication technology-based information, and will be available to members of Parliament, staff, and the public. The website includes a media center, searchable database of committee reports and resolution, and overviews and functions of the National Assembly. Audio and video telecasting of Parliament sittings will be facilitated as well. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy said the rice farmers should be more concerned about being paid on time this crop, rather than looking forward to an increase in the price of paddy. Here is Alexis Rodney.
Local rice farmers have been clamoring for an increase in the payments they receive for paddy sold to millers. They say the current rate has dropped considerably when compared to what was received a few years ago. The current rate per bag of paddy stands between $3,100 and $3,300. Farmers say they are severely distressed with the price and are hoping for an increase since production has skyrocketed this crop. But the Agriculture Minister said that while everyone would want the best price for their commodity, prices are determined by the market. Dr. Ramsamy said it is always better for the market to dictate the price, contending that if the government of a small country decides that it is going to set the price, it will be disadvantageous to farmers. Farmers have also raised concerns over the availability of markets to cushion the rise in production. According to the Agriculture Minister, Guyana has been able to expand its market. Traditionally, rice was sold only to the Caribbean and Europe. However, in 2010, Venezuela was added to the list, which includes Portugal, Spain, Holland, and Italy, and more recently, Panama. Guyana is also making arrangements to enter the African market, Dr. Ramsamy revealed. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
If you have a news tip or news story you would like our news team to follow, message or WhatsApp us on telephone numbers 680-9630, 600-3117, or 617-2867. You can also call us on our office numbers 231-0382, 226-2102, 223-7230, or 223-7231. Stay with us, more news on the other side of the break. If you've just joined us, you're watching the evening news. With the general public and consumer associations signaling their support for the much-anticipated hire purchase legislation, Courts is eagerly awaiting the passage of the bill in the National Assembly. The details in this report.
As Courts Guyana Inc. celebrated 21 years since commencement of business in Guyana, the company said it is looking forward to the much-touted hire purchase legislation. This is according to Managing Director Clyde Haas, who said that while the system has gone unregulated for some time without much turmoil, the legislation will bring positive change for the sector. He explained that while the legislation is still to be introduced, Courts has been working within the ambit of the law. The merchandise giant has also been following best practices introduced in other Caribbean countries and set by the Bank of Guyana. He also noted that this approach has enabled the company to keep defaulters, that is, persons who are unable to make payments or make late payments, under a 3% margin. The hire purchase bill, which is currently before Cabinet for review, is in draft format and is expected to be tabled at the resumption of the National Assembly.
The government is poised to launch a health council to tackle the scourge of suicide that has afflicted Guyana. Here is more from Sidi Ramnot.
The launching of a mental health council comprising members from recognized religious communities and other stakeholders will soon up the ante against suicide. This was disclosed by Health Minister Dr. Berry Ramsaran at a walk organized by the Health Ministry in collaboration with the Indian Arrival Committee (IAC) on Sunday. 150 persons drawn from the Health Ministry, the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Prison Service, and the Social Services Ministry have also been trained to address those who need assistance to cope with the issue that may lead to suicide. Participants were also urged by the Health Minister to reach out and stay connected with those who may be depressed. Minister Ramsaran said that the campaign will stretch across several ministries to ensure more participation. He stated that while many Guyanese are potential victims of suicide and may have suicidal tendencies, studies have shown that certain groups within society are more prone to commit the act. Sidi Ramnot for the Evening News.
A bowman from Adventure Village on the Essequibo coast is thanking God for his life after he narrowly escaped death. Delroy Stevens, 24, allegedly sustained a 14-inch chop wound from his wife's uncle, Uroy Chappelle. Chappelle is in custody at the Surrey police station. Stevens said he had no grievance with his wife's uncle and is baffled as to why the act was committed. He said he was sitting in the hall of his house with when his wife's uncle approached and chopped him. According to Bowman, he and the man had a conversation earlier in the day and he had asked him if he was not working. Stevens said he had asked his common-law wife for money to buy oil, and when he turned his back, he received the chop. Stay with us. Your regional news is next. Welcome back, and now for some news in the region. Caribbean Community CARICOM countries have until September 30 to present 3 final candidates for the position of Secretary General of the African, Caribbean and Pacific grouping. Well-placed Caribbean sources told Caribbean Media Corporation CMC on Monday that so far nominations have been received from Jamaica, Guyana, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago, while Haiti and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have expressed an interest in naming a candidate. And internationally, the French Foreign Ministry has confirmed that a French national has been kidnapped while on holiday on Sunday in eastern Algeria. The abduction comes hours after Islamic State militants warned they would target France and other countries after it launched airstrikes against them in Iraq. The kidnapping took place in the Tizi Ouzou region of Algeria. No group has so far claimed responsibility for the kidnapping. Here now are your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed at 5 hours on Tuesday, September 23 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 16 hours 5 on Tuesday, September 23 for a period of 1.5 hours. Stay with us. Sport is next.
A few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
Welcome back, and now for a look at your sport headlines. The GCB to discuss the WICB franchise system tomorrow. Amerindian talents take center stage at Everest. UG Wolves win Banks Sevens Rugby. And the Chennai Super Kings beat the Dolphins in high-scoring thriller. This segment of sport is brought to you by Macorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Victory!
The Guyana Cricket Board will meet with key stakeholders tomorrow to discuss the franchise system being implemented by the West Indies Cricket Board later this year. Here is more from Avinash Ramzan.
In a press release issued on Monday, the Guyana Cricket Board indicated that Guyana Cricket Inc. is extending an invitation to all inter-county players, match officials, First Division clubs, county board executives, the media and other interested stakeholders to attend an important meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 23 at the Everest Cricket Club Pavilion starting at 15 hours. This meeting, according to the release, will discuss the rollout of the new WICB franchise system. The new system is expected to commence on October 1, 2014. The West Indies Cricket Board is looking to roll out a full professional first-class franchise system in which a cadre of 90 players will be engaged in a professional cricket structure on a day-to-day basis year-round. The board has also committed to partner with the 6 territorial boards to fund 6 first-class franchises in the region, which will compete in the annual regional first-class tournament and the Super 50 competition. Each franchise will retain 15 players who will work as a unit on a day-to-day basis in each territory under a head coach and support staff. The 6 franchises will be based in Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, the Leeward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Windward Islands.
Suresh Raina slumped 90 off the 43 balls to lead the Chennai Super Kings to 242.6 and a 54-run win over the Dolphins in a high-scoring Champions League T20 match in Bangalore. Raina hammered 8 sixes while Brendan McCullum hit 49 and Ravindra Jadeja 40 not out off of 14 balls before Mohit Sharma claimed 4 for 41 and Dwayne Bravo and Ashish Neera 2 apiece to dismiss the Dolphins for 188. The Dolphins seemed on course to chase the target, racing to 56 in just the first 3 overs, but suffered a meltdown in the middle overs as Bravo led a bowling revival for the Super Kings. The Champions League T20 will continue tomorrow with the Hurricanes versus the Northern Districts at 10:30 in Raipur. The University of Ghana Wolves displayed brilliant rugby skills to walk away with the 2014 Banks Sevens Rugby Championship on Sunday at the National Park Rugby Ground. Here is more from Tristan Joseph.
Youth, speed and agility were the ingredients UG displayed on their way to a thrilling 26-24 win over the much more seasoned Yamaha Caribs. Caribs in the first half used their size and experience to outplay UG to head into the final half with a comfortable 12-5 lead as former national sprinter Carl Lewis scored and converted while Akeem Fraser had a try for the Caribs. Captain of UG Ryan Day had the only try for UG in the first half with some brilliant moves on his way to the end zone. However, in the second half, UG simply outran Caribs, who were unable to keep up with the pace of the university men. Philbert Joseph and Day scored while Godfrey Brooms converted both times before O.C. McKenzie scored and converted for the university men to give them the win. Scoring in the second half for Caribs came from Akeem Fraser and Andrew Jarvis, while Captain Theodore Henry converted. Here is President of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Peter Green, on UG's win.
Last year, UG were the whipping boys. UG, as I've said before, are no longer boys. They've become men. Development only comes through constant playing. And that's what's happening.
The one-day tournament was used as a yardstick to select a shortlist of players to represent Guyana at the upcoming NACRA Championships scheduled for later this year in Mexico.
And finally, the male and female athletes from over a dozen Amerindian villages showcased their talents at the weekend when the annual Amerindian Heritage Month sport activities were hosted at the Everest Ground, Camp Road. Here is more from Avinash Ramsan.
Over 500 athletes flocked to venue the weekend as the annual Amerindian Heritage Month sport activities were held with much pomp and ceremony. After Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony observed a march past and subsequently declared the two-day event open, the athletes, drawn from 15 communities, began the quest for top honours in male and female cricket, football and volleyball. The teams were drawn from all the administrative regions with the exception of Region 3. Delivering feature remarks, Dr. Anthony lauded the Amerindian Affairs Ministry for once again pulling off the two-day activity, noting that it provides a great avenue for the talents of the various communities to be showcased. The minister reminded the athletes and the hundreds who journeyed from their respective regions to be part of the event of the important role that sport plays in the development of a nation.
And through sports, we have been able to bring recognition to our country. We have been able to empower a lot of our young people. Persons perhaps who did not have the self-confidence are given that self-confidence when they are engaged in sports. And it's a wonderful thing that we can organize ourselves into these types of competition. We in the government, we want to do even more for the development of sports. And you would have seen over the last couple of years, we have taken some steps to ensure that we develop the infrastructure for sports in Guyana.
Dr. Anthony made specific reference to government's investment in sport, highlighting the construction of the National Stadium, Olympic-sized swimming pool, the public squash courts, and a soon-to-be-completed state-of-the-art synthetic track at Leonora. The minister also said that the administration is willing to make the swimming pool at Liliendal available to the Amerindians staying at the hostel just a stone's throw away from the facility.
We can organize special times during the week where they can come over and have some swimming sessions, because I think it's good for exercise, it's good to stay healthy. And also, maybe we'll find some competitive swimmers.
Amerindian Heritage Month is celebrated every September, and the sports aspect is a major attraction, with hundreds participating in several disciplines.
And that has brought us to the end of the evening news for today, Monday, September 22, 2014. Please remember to get a copy of tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times newspaper for the details of these stories and other news. I'm Petili Santos. Thank you for joining us.